Hi, welcome to this week's 1 Minute Wednesday. And this week I wanted to talk to you about your supply chain risk. And that's really off the back of a threat that has emerged in the past few days from a major supplier to the IT service provider industry, to companies like ourselves. Firstly, I should say that we have not been a victim in this supply chain attack, and none of our clients have been put at risk. But I want to kind of level with you and tell you about these attacks and how actually your IT provider is mostly one of the biggest risks to your own business. And that's because of these supply chain attacks. So a supply chain attack is where actually the cyber criminal wants to get to encrypt and deploy ransomware to as many computers as possible. And they could go about that by doing that individually to companies' computers by phishing emails, etc. Or if they want to kind of get more bang for their buck, if you like, they can go for the main provider in that supply chain. So for us, we have suppliers whose software we use to remotely monitor and manage your computers. So although we don't deploy ransomware, etc., onto your computers, the cyber criminals will actually go for the providers that provide us with that software, and they will exploit vulnerabilities that are usually unknown to the suppliers at this stage to do exactly that. They will use this to weaponize what these tools would legitimately do to deploy ransomware. So this particular attack has only seen around, well, the current estimates are less than 60 service providers across the world, which is relatively small. But if you take into consideration then those 60 service providers might look after hundreds, maybe thousands of computers, you quickly escalate the number of clients affected. So for example, one chain of grocery stores, I think it is, in the US, I think it was 800 stores in the end, had to close on the first day of the attack because their EPOS systems would not operate. And this is where I was saying, if they can, the cyber criminals get much more bang for their buck if they go for the key component in the supply chain to deliver their ransomware payload. So what I was saying earlier, it's like actually when you're considering the risk in your supply chain to your business, your IT provider really should be pretty near the top, if not at the top of that list, because of the tools we use and how they have been weaponized. I mean, this is the second attack, I think, in the last couple of years that we know of, where IT providers have been used to deploy ransomware across their clients' machines. What has been really good to see is the response from across the whole IT community. So it's one particular vendor that's been affected, but actually all of the vendors have worked together to share intelligence, share their own thoughts on what's working, and also suppliers within the industry to make sure the resolution is as swift as possible. But this happened on the 2nd of July. I'm recording this on the Tuesday, and systems are still not fully up and running, and mostly still won't be for some days. This supply chain attack was believed to coincide with the July 4th holidays in the US, where typically there'll be more skeleton staff on duty for IT, and take advantage of the fact they could possibly sneak through the back door and do as much damage as possible before being detected. So if you've got any questions or concerns around how we secure ourselves, if you're one of our clients, I have emailed you on Monday if you've missed that. If not, drop me a message and we can certainly have a chat. But otherwise, just look at those risks your own supply chains and see how you might best mitigate those risks to you. That's it for this week. I'll see you next week on another One Nice Day.